Okay. All right. So we started off by asking a question, right? What challenge, obstacle are you facing right now? What do you need some kind of resolve in life, or is there some clarity that you need? It's the same question asked 4 different ways, depending on what resonates with you. Okay. You all wrote down something that you needed to look at, and then we did 2 things. Okay, put your hands up if you all got an answer after we did the exercise. Okay, nothing for you? Okay, it's fine, practice more. All right, so what did we do just now? Okay, the thing is, when we started off with the power breath, okay, and that takes you in an altered way of being. Okay, it takes you into a waking state, high state of consciousness, right? Not sleeping state, waking state. Okay. Then we did the phasic vision exercise. Okay. Now, when you practice those 2 things together, okay, something magical is happening. Okay, you are creating rapport with yourself. Okay, you are creating rapport with your unconscious mind and you. Okay, right, and the things that you're dealing with, right? And the thing that gets in the way sometimes is your conscious mind, because your conscious mind is actually trying to protect you. It's always there to protect you. Never think that this, chatty voice on your shoulder, right, is working against you. It's always working for you. But sometimes it overdoes it. It's protector, okay? But when you allow the protector to step to one side, all of a sudden you can speak to your unconscious mind, okay? So sometimes our conscious mind is getting in the way of us getting the answers that we're seeking sometimes, right? So with the power breath, you're getting into a different way of being, okay? You're going into a lower, higher vibrational frequency, using the power breath and the phasic vision. We also call it shaman state, okay? And it's called a shaman state for a reason. It's called a shaman state for a reason because you're going into a new way of being, okay? So when you start to develop that rapport with yourself, then something's happening, right? Number 1, you're getting into a state of silence, okay? Number 2, you're getting into a state of listening. Number 3, you're getting into a state of understanding. Number 4, you start to activate and assimilate the lessons that come into you. Number 5, you get into a state of action. And finally, number 6, you can start to then teach that once you've got it, okay? So, anybody want to share what their challenge or obstacle, what they need clarity on, what they need a resolution on was, and what insight they got? Sorry?
It's about combat, right?
It was about life.
Okay.
But okay, if it's for you, it was about combat. What was your combat obstacle challenge?
Dealing with an opponent with longer range weapon than me.
Dealing with an opponent with a longer range weapon than you. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. And then, before you wrote the question down, you were struggling with that, right?
Yeah.
But you got some kind of insight.
Yeah.
What was your insight?
So don't go linear assault on them.
So repeat that again.
Don't go linear assault on them.
Okay. Don't go linear. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean by assault is like 1-for-1.
Okay.
And never gonna work.
Okay.
Never going to work. So break the rhythm That's an easy one, but be bold.
Okay. So don't go linear, break the rhythm, be bold, right?
When you break the rhythm.
Okay, so in other words, be courageous and do something.
Yeah, because if it's a half-assed rhythm break,
Yeah.
It's like posting a letter, I'm coming for you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you're telling them in advance. Yeah.
There you go, I'm going for you, by the way. So,
So you're telegraphing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Tell them a telegram.
So telephone him and it's like,
Okay.
so essentially.
All right, good.
So that was like, yeah, that's.
So you got some insights. Why didn't that come to you before?
Because the thing is, when you're training on your own, you don't realize it's just an idea. Now, here today was not an idea.
Yeah.
It's how to deal with it. I actually did it.
Yeah.
Actually, we could hit you a few times actually, but not as much as I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this insight came to you when we did this exercise, yeah?
Yeah, because breaking the rhythm is the thing. You don't always break the rhythm.
Yeah.
But there's breaking the rhythm and breaking the rhythm according to the opponent that's facing you, right?
Okay.
It's like breaking the rhythm, I don't know, against Zoya is not the same as breaking the rhythm against this guy.
Yeah.
It's a different rhythm break, different dance.
Okay. So coming back to your key points, break the rhythm, don't go linear, be bold as well. Okay, good. All right. Anybody else want to share their question and their insight? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Not my question, but an insight.
Yeah.
Just going back to when we were playing tag, when we did the facet vision,
Yeah.
my reaction times were quicker.
Yeah.
And my interception was quicker.
Yeah.
Now, having done this exercise and explained what we're doing,
Yeah.
I realise now, at the time I just thought, well, I've got my reaction time
Yeah.
quicker. But it's not, it's actually my decision making was quicker.
Yeah.
Because I got into a state of subconscious.
Yeah.
And that's why my reaction time was quicker.
Okay.
So it was a conscious thought, better decision making.
Okay, so you're going back to the exercise drill that we did where we played tag, one person touches the other person's shoulder or knee, and likewise they could do it to you. You've got to evade it or block it, and likewise you can return it asynchronously so that it's not one for one, okay? And you found that once you did the phasic vision exercise that you was more competent at doing it because you could see more of it, okay? That's a good point. So the point I'm trying to get to is we looked at that on a physical level, okay? We looked at that on a physical level only. But one of the things that you said earlier yourself was in order to stay in that state, you have to also stay relaxed. The moment you start to become tense, your eyes become tense, you start getting a narrow gaze, a focused gaze, and a focused gaze breaks you out the phasic vision, and therefore you can't see as much, and next thing you know you're just getting tagged left, right and center, okay? Right? This is the physical aspect of that exercise. But what we're actually going into here is we're breaking into this energetic aspect, okay? Right? Because when you go into something like power breath, you are going into a deep relaxation state, okay? Right? Then when you engage the phasic vision, right, all of a sudden it widens your mind, right? It expands your mind to a degree that the conscious mind is no longer prevalent, all right? So you can ask whatever you want. You've just unlocked a higher power. Now you've got to practice this. Just by doing it once, you're not going to become an expert. But you'll be surprised what you could have asked if you wanted to. Because I don't know what everybody else has asked, I can't tell. But you'll be surprised what answers you could have tapped into if you wanted it. So what we're starting to look at is not fighting physical versus physical, right? But spiritual versus your opponent that's fighting physical, okay? This is a superpower, okay? Because you can feel what they're feeling. you can see what they're seeing. You can hear what they're hearing, right? You can taste what they're tasting, right? You can smell what they're smelling. You can think what they're thinking, right? You step into them. And because you know what's happening, you know exactly how to respond to that intelligently. And because you're responding to that intelligently, chances are you're not going to get tagged as much, okay? So now, all of a sudden, we're not on this level anymore. Phasic vision was always something much greater than you thought it was, and we're unlocking it for you now, right? So with this, you can unlock your higher potential, okay? So we're starting to look at two different aspects here then, right? You've got aspect A, right, and aspect B, okay, which is focusing on this element, right? Physical versus physical. So there's two things that we're looking at today, right? Number one is perspective, okay? Perspective is the appearance of an object or situation with regard to their relative position, usually from yourself, okay? That's perspective, all right? So if I write up here, okay? But we don't want to operate from perspective, right? So I would say not perspective, perception, okay? Not perspective, perception. So what is perception? Okay, perception is your sensory awareness and an experience of seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting, and thinking, not just from the self, but from other people's viewpoints. Okay? All right? Not just the self. Sometimes you might have heard the saying, put yourself in other people's shoes. In combat, you have to be in the other person's shoes as well as your own. Because if you don't know what they're doing, they'll catch you out. You have got the power to step into their shoes if you can get into a relaxed state and go into a higher state of being. Because that's what phasic vision is. Okay? It's not just a way to open your eyes and make them soft and see lots of stuff, right? It's actually, for a reason, it's called a shaman state, okay? All right, because it's a shamanic state, all right? So you start to tap into the spiritual faculties, okay? Your energetic faculties, and when you start to tap into the energetic faculties, you start to feel things, see things, hear things, smell things, taste things, think things other people are going through. Now, this unlocks some huge locks, okay? What it locks and what it unlocks is our ability to observe, orient, decide, and act what we're going to do in relation to another person or other people, right? If we know what they're feeling, then we can respond to them in a way that is conducive to them, right? In a way that is congruent and ecological, right? And a way that honors them, okay? Right? Even if we don't agree with them. Combat, we want to understand what their next move is, right? When they're about to, where their focus is going, that energy goes. Where that energy goes, that's going to expand. You want to feel that expanse. Forget about their focus. You're feeling the expanse. You're feeling the energy. You're feeling the energy expanding, okay? Right? This is taking us into that.
I feel that after I completed that exercise, that's just entered in a state of peace that gave me clarity,
Yeah.
focus, to then allow me to enable me to have perception of this. It was an enabler.
Okay, so for you, it was an enabler of clarity, peace, and focus, yeah?
Yeah, give me the peace first, and then I've got clarity and focus, which then enabled me to, I guess, move on to
Yeah.
receiving.
Yeah. Put your hands up if you also agree with that. Okay. Good. All right. So that's everyone. Ashley's writing. So, all right. So yeah, Ashley agrees. So that's 100% agreement. All right. Woo. No, that's good. Okay. So the application of this is if you can operate from a place of perception, not perspective. One thing happens straight away is you start to get into a position of understanding. Okay? Right? Perception breeds understanding. Right? Now, understanding is a word that is underrated because understanding is the key. Okay? I'm going beyond combat now. I'm going to daily life. Okay? Because when you understand somebody, right, understanding leads to empathy. Right? It leads to natural development of empathy for that person, even if what they've done, if they've done something you don't agree with, you think it's necessarily, initially you might have thought it was wrong. But if you can understand why they did it, you might even empathize with them. Whereas before, you might have thought, nah, that was out of order. Okay? Empathy leads to compassion. Okay? Empathy always leads to compassion. Right? And compassion will lead to grace and wisdom. Okay? Grace and wisdom. And that's how you fortify relationships, right? By going through that process, okay? Let me just put this down. So we want to get into this position where if we can switch this on without having to sit down, do 6 sets of power breaths and 6 sets of enabling your phasic vision, but automatically switch it on like that, just imagine, right, how you can unlock those superpower faculties that are latent within you and just start to connect with people. This is what you have to get into this state of doing, especially in combat. Because in combat, you ain't got time to mess about, right, trying to calm yourself down. You have to already be calm. You have to already get into that state and then be able to see without looking. Yeah? But moreover, in daily life application, it's even more important. Because in daily life application, when you're interfacing with someone, you're conversing with someone, you're communing with people, right? You've got to read, as you might have heard the saying, read the room or read the person, right? You literally are not only just reading, but you're assimilating with them. And then you go through understanding, empathy, compassion, grace and wisdom, okay? So today we've covered not perspective, but perception, all right? So aim for perception. Thank you.